Welcome back to episode 58. I think by now most people watching my videos know I'm not one for venturing too far from home. I once joked about attending a car show event and said if there was one at the end of the street, I might just make the effort to go. Turns out there literally was one coming up at the end of the street. I was asked if I was going and couldn't really say no, to be fair. Other than Bingley Hall Mini Fair, the car's never been to a show of any kind. So this would be a first for both me and the Mini. The show in question was a classic and performance motor show at Horton. It's mainly a mix of old classics, kit cars and modern performance vehicles. I believe as well as having your car on display, you can also enter into various competitions throughout the day. Entering those competitions isn't really me though, if I'm honest. I had the car restored so it could be driven and used daily if needs must, and that makes it harder to keep everything looking clean, tidy and fresh. Whilst I don't mind cleaning the car every now and again, I don't have the will to make things shine so bright that you can see your face in the head studs. It'd be a big enough challenge if I just actually turned up. So I bought a ticket for the car and just gave it a quick wipe down the night before the show, and as long as it looked relatively clean I'd be happy. On the morning of the show, the ground was a bit wet after some rainfall during the night, but overall it was cloudy and warm. Horton Tower is just up the road, but this will be the first time that the Mini's been there. Horton Tower takes its name from the Horton family, who have owned the property I think since the 1200s, although the building was rebuilt in the 1500s and restored in the late 1800s. It's a fortified manor house built at the top of what's probably the steepest hill in the area. I'm guessing for security back in the day. There's a lot of history associated with Hoghton Tower, and a popular story that's commonly told around here is that many years ago, King James visited the tower and was served a loin of beef. He was so impressed with the beef that he knighted it, sirloin. The grounds extend to several hundred acres, and this makes it an ideal venue for hosting the car show. There's a long steep driveway heading up to the tower, and fingers crossed the car won't struggle getting to the top. When I got to the top of the drive, I was directed away from the tower and guided into the middle of a field. The grass was really long and wet and slippy for the 10-inch wheels of the Mini, and I could feel the grass and the weeds catching on the exhaust. I'll be honest, I've never been to this shore before and thought I'd be parking up near the tower, so I was a bit disappointed to be parking up in one of the side fields. But from what I understand, the food stalls and the car clubs are placed near the tower, and it'd be too crowded for everyone else to park up there. So the rest of the cars are directed to the field. It just felt a little bit out of the way and away from the action, I guess. And it would have been better if this grass would have been a bit shorter, as it did cause a few issues, and it'd certainly be fun trying to drive off the field if it starts pouring down. But aside from that, and the billions of midges had made it. And the venue was filling up nicely, with lots of great looking cars. It was still an hour before opening time, so I decided to go for a little walk and see what the rest of the setup looked like. By opening time, it was quite busy. Being parked so far away from the tower did feel like I was quite some distance from the main footfall, but there was still quite a lot of people having a browse and enjoying a walk on what turned out to be a nice sunny day. There was quite a lot of cars to look round, and the day was quite nostalgic, brought back lots of nice memories from years gone by. The Mini seemed quite popular, and I found myself spending a lot of time with the car answering questions, which was nice. I'm normally an introvert and tend to avoid putting myself in situations like this, but I sort of felt at home being surrounded by people with similar interests. It was nice catching up with a few friends who turned up on the day, and a few people had come over to look at the car as they'd seen it here on YouTube. I managed to chat with a few of the other Mini owners who'd attended too, and it's a shame we weren't able to have been all grouped together, as that would have made quite a nice little display. It was also nice to catch up with a couple of people I'd previously chatted with when the car was at Bingley Hall for the Newton Commercial Car Interior launch. And to be honest, most of the questions surrounding the car here at Horton Tower were about the interior. It seemed to attract a lot of attention. It's just a pity I couldn't have opened the doors and windows, because when I did, the car was flooded with flies and midges. But all in all, despite a few negatives, I did enjoy the day, and I'd definitely go again next year. There are lots of cars to look around, and if next year's event happens to fall on a nice sunny day, I'd be happy to bring the Mini back. It'd be a nice bonus for everyone if the grass isn't a foot long next year.